Scott, I've been watching you for a while. You're different. And I believe everyone deserves a shot at redemption. Do you?
Absolutely. My days of breaking into places and stealing stuff are over. What do you want me to do?
I want you to break into a place and steal some stuff.
Makes sense.
Here's the thing about it, man. True is what I'm telling you. It is more of a lighthearted film. And we have the character of Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd, he's a petty thief in the movie. Oh, you know, he's just fucking up. Ain't got nothing going on, going to jail, going back to his wife talking about, baby, I can't see my own daughter. She's like, because you're a fucking criminal, that's why. The hell, you think I'm gonna let my daughter hang around you? But somebody has been watching Scott. A certain Hank Pym has been watching him, and he says,
"What was that name again?"
I'm sorry, man.
Hank Pym.
What is his?
No, you
did
got
I
it
get
right.
it
You got it right. I'm not correcting you on your.
Oh, okay. You know, because I don't know these funny books like you, Martin. But
seriously,
but good old Howard Pym. Did I get Hank Pym? Hank Pym has been watching Scott, and he says, you know something? Somebody wants my technology, and if they get it, this could have terrible effects on the world. Hank Pym, played by Michael, what's his name? Douglas. Yeah. And he says, you know what? This guy who's fucking up his life, this guy who's a petty criminal, this guy who's doing nothing with his life, I could probably find an opportunity for him to use his skills so that he can not only save the world, but also save his relationship and gain the love and trust of his daughter. Now, this is an actual comic book for people who don't know. This is part of the Marvel universe for those of you who don't know. And that means we've seen a lot of these characters. With the Marvel universe, Martin, especially the cinematic universe, they've asked a lot of us, Martin. They've asked us to buy guys who turn to big green monsters, gods, right. A guy whose suit can do practically anything. Mm-hmm. A talking raccoon and tree.
A man that was frozen for decades.
A man that a nerd that was turned into a jock in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
But this shit, this might be the first one where they've pushed the limits, man.
Whoa.
Over a talking raccoon.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I know that sounds crazy. Marvel has pushed those limits. They have pushed, and all the while I've enjoyed the pushing, Martin. And now it's finally got to the point where I'm like, hey, you need to get your fucking hands off me. No, don't push me that. Don't push me that hard.
So here's where you snapped.
It kind of is. It kind of is. It's a lot of things with this movie that just makes it seem like this is the first time where Marvel has done something where it doesn't really seem to click with everything else that they've done. And I will elaborate on this in a little while. Now, I will say this is not a bad movie. I mean, there are certain things in here that work very well. I mean, if nothing else, what are we coming to see this movie for? And for anybody who's not in the comic books, Martin, like you and other people out there, mm-hmm. You're coming to see the special effects. You want to see a special effects movie. And that's the cool thing about this film. I say it's one of the most impressive things about it is that, you do get to see average objects, average environments turned into another world. And it's probably one of the most impressive effects. I mean, it's the new age right now. We got the technology to do it. It's probably the most effective use of shrinking effects that I have seen to date.
Scotty, what's up, man?
I wonder, what is this?
What the fuck?
The world sure seems different from down here, doesn't it, Scott?
What? Who said that?
Scott, did you have sex with my wife?
He's like, That's a big ass Mexican.
El Chapo.
Hell yeah. Shit, this shit right here, this is like this is Donald Trump's nightmare right here. What you say, man? I heard that shit.
It's a trial by fire, Scott, or in this case, water.
It's like, what the fuck, man? I thought you needed me.
Guess you're tougher than you thought.
You know, why don't you quit talking shit and help me?
Yeah.
You know, you obviously see what's happening. If you need me so much, why are you trying to kill me? That's one of the things that I don't understand with those people who say, I need you. You're the only person for the job. And to test you out, I'm going to try to kill you.
Well, he didn't steal the suit out of Michael Douglas's house. So, if somebody stole some shit from you, you tell me you're not going to trash talk them for a while.
You know, that's true. He did break into his house, so he's just kind of fucking with him this time. You're like, oh, you like to steal shit, huh? Yeah, got in a little over your head now, didn't you? But
bit of a spoiler. Those buttons
are we
don't,
sure we wanna
don't
do
actually shrink him. They just inject him with LSD.
what the fuck is happening?
Whoa,
Hey,
man.
Scott. I ain't like that shit now. That is Michael Douglas, whose voice you hear there as Hank Pym, and that is Paul Rudd in the suit. And it looks cool. It looks badass. It really does, as you can see right there. But this is the first time I think that I have to call bullshit on a superpower.
Well, okay. The place where I would call bullshit. It's like with so many things. There's something you like to get this. I gotta let this go, and it's one of these things where he shrinks, but he still has a solid density, as you can see when he hit the floor and broke it.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, if he's that dense, why is the water pushing him along? That little bit of water. It constantly does that back and forth, and you kind of have to decide: am I gonna go with it and have fun, or am I gonna sit there going, check?
And you know what, Martin? You're right. I mean, look. You're probably thinking I'm nitpicking right now. The Hulk has his transformations, and when he changes, his dick is always covered up. You know, pants never break. We also have, like I said, Iron Man. His suit can do anything whenever he needs to get out of trouble. He can just build something on the spot.
Hey,
Thor has his hammer.
Black Widow's ability not to pull shit out of her socket when she jumps up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
like crazy shit.
I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a whole list.
All these powers are crazy. So why are you talking about this? Well, first of all this stuff looks cool. All this stuff looks badass. Ant-Man, Scott Lang, his costume, it looks like some motorcycle tights and a stupid helmet. I mean, it's just that suit just doesn't say it merits that kind of power that he has.
Really? I like the suit.
I do too.
I even like the helmet.
I'm okay, but you know what? The thing is, I'm not hard on it. It's just like I'm just not that impressed. I'll be honest with you, but I'm not hard on it. It's like, hey, as long as it shrinks, who cares? You know, as long as we get to see the cool effects, right?
Yeah.
The other thing though that I really can't take here. So this is a guy. This is a guy who he hangs out with ants. I mean, he hangs out with them like they're friends. And the ants, they hang out with him. They talk to him. They act like dogs, like pets. They talk to him in their little ant language.
They're kind of cute. Whoa.
It's fucking ants.
Now hold on.
Oh man, don't do that.
Now, if we're pulling out bullshit cards, when we saw the trailers and he was running with ants, I was worried about how you're going to react, and you were excited about it.
Because I didn't know they were going to be acting like this. I'm talking about they hanging out with him like they're homeboys. They got names.
No, he names them. It's not like they're sitting around playing cards.
No, because they keep using the same ones. This is what I'm saying. So they hang out together all the time. And the other thing is that apparently They can fucking teleport. The ants just bring up too many questions. They can teleport because wherever he goes, it's the same ants that pop up because he calls them by name. And the ants apparently pay their electric bills on time because every time he goes into their tunnels, it's always well lit. They can see everything that's going on.
Holmes, come on now. Any movie that's in the dark is always more well lit than it should be. You see any movie or TV show a couple at night in bed, and you're like, there ain't no way they could sleep with that much light in the room.
Look, man, I know, but it's an ant tunnel, man.
No.
Look at that.
When you bring up legitimate beefs, I will be there to back you up. But you are in total nitpick
This
territory.
beef is not to your liking right here? You don't like the flavor of the beef?
No. This is standard movie stuff. You come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. How come it's doing that?
You know, okay,
You
Tom,
just
I
fed
saw
up
you
with
had a
the
question.
Cliches now. or
What's
something?
that?
Are you just fed up with cliches all of a sudden?
You know what? I'm probably nitpicking a little bit because the fucking ants just don't. That's where I just say, hey, man, this is kind of crazy. I mean,
It's a part of his power, though.
But it's
What's the name of this movie? I forgot.
Ant-Man. I know.
Oh, okay.
And the guy that hangs out with ants, it's just
It's weird.
that's where it gets a
Too
little too
weird
weird
for
for
you?
me. It's getting. I mean,
The
I'm not gonna lie
talking
to you.
raccoon wasn't weird, but this is weird.
Okay,
Nah,
that
man, you got a point. I sure hope they don't have Aquaman hanging out with fish.
man, come on now. You know what? It's a little different.
Talking to tuna and shit.
No, it's not different at all.
It's the exact same thing.
You know, like he'll be hanging out with dolphins and probably some whales or something.
A shark or
and,
two.
And, you know, when Aquaman oh god damn, you dragging me into this fucking nerdy ass conversation. When Aquaman talks to the fish, they don't be going like, oh, okay, Aquaman. You know, they're just kind of like fish who are just following him.
Okay, but you're giving people the idea that these ants are anthropomorphic and they talk, and they are neither.
They do talk. They talk. Look at like I say, look at he's petting them like a puppy and shit. And that's the other thing. He brings in all these ants from different colonies, and we know what happens when we start mixing ants. I mean, we used to do this. We used to start ant gang fights when we were kids. You know, mix some other ants with another ant colony and watch them fight.
Who are you, the Dutch?
All these fucking ants, man. All these ants hang out together. You know, if Ant-Man came up, some ants would be like, whoa, who's this motherfucker right here you brought in here? In fact, what the fuck you doing here?
Yeah.
And they would kill him.
Yeah, except Ant-Man has that little pimp sensor that says, hey, you calm the fuck down, do what I say.
Yeah.
And that's
they go like, yes, master.
I'm glad you touched on that because Aquaman is kind of, he's the king of the fish. He was born into that power. They built a device where you can, and to give you some bullshit excuse saying, hey, you can telekinetically talk to ants. Only if you really concentrate on what you want to say. You have to be sincere to the ants, otherwise they know that you're lying to them. I'm like, get the fuck out of here,
Hey, man, if I'm going to come to your level, telekinetic is where you move things with your mind.
Okay, telepathic.
He was going to
wanna
let you have it.
Maybe I was going to let you. Maybe I was trying to see if you listen to me. You passed every week. You pass my stupid test. Every week I keep putting out the stupid, and you keep passing. But yeah, look,
You're
man.
breaking my heart right now because this is like my most anticipated movie of the summer.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
And you know what?
yeah.
Here's the thing. I would probably not be so critical of it, but it's just that this power doesn't seem to blend.
So it's the power that's bothering you.
Well, it's not even the power. It just doesn't seem to blend with the other Avengers because in this movie, they do tons of cameos here. They do a lot of cameos. They put in a lot of imagery from especially the Avengers. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but this is in the, you can see this in some of the TV spots. They want to let you know this is part of the cinematic universe. They want to let you know that he will be working with the Avengers one day. And it's when he starts mixing with the Avengers that it starts to get a little weird for me.
Who the hell are you? I'm Ant-Man.
Even he's like, really? Really, man, I work with a lot of silly motherfuckers, but this is just stupid, right? I mean, this is it doesn't feel it's not gelling with me.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know how it could gel with you because they've gone out of their way. I mean, one of the things about this movie being lighthearted and even silly is because they realize it, they recognize it, and they play off it. They don't miss an opportunity to go like, yeah, we know, but come along with us anyway. And like yeah, it's he's one of the staple characters. We're going to work it in as best we can.
And you're right. I know that they have to put him in there because all those fucking hardcore nerds out there, they're like, well, Ant-Man was an Avenger. You got to put him in there. So they force him in there. And to me, it just doesn't feel like, I'm using a word I don't even like to use. I hear people say it all the time. It doesn't feel organic. Now, did I get that right? Or is it organism?
No, that one you got right.
Okay, thank you. But some of that I can deal with because it is a comic book movie. It's the tone of the film where sometimes, like, I don't mind the humorous stuff. Paul Rudd has he has the goofy charm to pull this off. Mm-hmm. He really does. And while I don't even think that they let him go as far as it could, I mean, under the staple of Marvel, I think they've held him back a little bit. So you don't see Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd to his fullest, or that actor being the kind of actor that can take this kind of material and make it what it should be. But he's good. He's good. But it's the supporting characters that I'm not really crazy about.
Okay.
I think when you get to some of these supporting characters here, like you see T.I., there's a dude that plays a Russian guy. I've seen an actor before. I can't remember his name.
I know, me either.
You know, character actor. Mm-hmm. But it's Michael Pena. Michael Pena just takes this he takes something that could be humorous and, this is the funny movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He takes this way to a more cartoony level than it should be.
Everyone here knows their role, right? Dave?
Wheels on the ground.
Kurt. Oh, he's in this guy. Luis.
Oh, man, you know it. You know what? I get to wear a uniform. That's what's up.
Luis.
I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm just excited. And plus, your girlfriend's really hot, so, that makes me nervous, too. And you are very beautiful, ma'am.
Oh, my Lord.
You can stop now.
Yes, please. Yeah, you could stop that shit a long time ago.
It's a weird thing with Michael Pena because he's that character all the time. And when he first comes in, it's a surprise that they would have him be, this lighthearted.
Yeah.
This kind of cartoonist. But it's fun at first. It really is like, oh, okay. And he's actually funny seeing him like he's almost like a little kid.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Michael Pena, in a role like this in forever. But it's too much.
Yeah.
It's like it's really funny at first, and there's little places where it is, but then the longer it goes on, the more it's kind of like, man, y'all need to like just tone him down.
Yeah, he needed to pull back, man. It was like they just where they should have let Paul Rudd ad-lib, and it feels like he wasn't. It seemed like they just let Michael Pena just fucking cut loose, man. And that's the thing about Michael Pena is that I've seen him do this exact same character before in a couple of other things. So that's how I know they just say, hey, man, just do your thing.
I think it was a little bit more than what he's done before. And maybe that's what it is. Like what you did on that time, just do that. But yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of it that was like, that should have been cut.
Exactly. And with his character, he brings us to such an outlandish, cartoony level that it pulls the danger out of the movie. Like, I know this is a comedy, but when you got superheroes doing superhero shit, your average person can't be doing the same fucking thing, man. There's a part in here where they got to go into this facility protected by the bad guys. And the bad guys are all armed with guns. They're trained. I mean, they're corporate security guys. Yeah. Right. Michael Pena just goes through punching them, just knocking motherfuckers out. Knocking motherfuckers out left and right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I call an unfortunate casualty in a very serious operation.
It's like, okay, so when you gonna join the Avengers? It's like, if you can just go through and because he does that several times, and I really had this pet peeve in a movie, even a comedy like this, where you just knock somebody out. You punch them one time. This dude, Michael Pena, who's the goofy fat dude in the movie, right. He punches people several times, and every time he hits them, they just knock the fuck out. I'm just like, wow. So why do we even have Ant-Man? Why don't we have Pena Man, a Mexican man or whatever? I'm like, hey, sometimes you go a little too far.
And why are they hiring guards from Glassjaw Security?
Yeah, all of them. All of them must have just not have ever made it as boxers, ex-boxers, all of them. All of them got the nickname Glassjaw. Just knocking motherfuckers out left and right. Now, like I said, I'll be honest with you. I think that they have finally found that one movie where it's not only fitting within the Marvel universe, but it's starting to show their blueprint. It's starting to show their formula over and over again, to the point where I thought that I saw them doing this before, because one of my biggest complaints with Guardians of the Galaxy is that I like the villain, but it has such a unique feel to it that right. All right, whatever. Right. But now we're beginning to see the movie take follow a certain formula, and the villains they're getting more watered down as we go. They've never really been strong on a lot of villains, but here Corey Stoll.
You tried to hide your suit from me. Now it's gonna blow up in your face.
and your face does not look villainous. I mean, I'm sorry, man. You know, you are. Hey, we Korey's got to stick together, but he is not a villain in this.
He's a C Korey.
Yeah.
And he is C-grade villain too. I mean, this is not, and he's not just well developed enough. You know,
no, you're right. You're right. It's weird because Korey Stoll's a really good actor.
Yes.
Yet he's kind of in that Sean Bean territory that whenever he's in a movie, most of the time he's in a movie, he's a bad guy and things are not going to work out well for him.
Yeah.
Even when he's a decent dude, he gets punked or beat up somehow.
Yeah.
And he's not a strong villain in as much as it's not there on the page. You can see him trying. He's trying to bring that.
He's trying.
He's bringing the psychosis to it. You know, you're going like, man, there's something wrong with this dude. But they don't write enough to give you a strong motivation for why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I was your assistant and you ignored me, so now I want to destroy you and kill everything. It's like, man, that's a huge leap.
It's one of those things where I'm jealous. You never paid attention to me. It's like you got some major fucking daddy issues, man. Yeah. And by the way, they are very, very routine. I mean, we've seen that villain where it's like you didn't respect me enough, so I gotta do some villainous shit. It's like, man, why don't you go find another job? you have a great job. You're getting great money.
I'm sure it's other companies out there that love your services.
Like if he really wasn't trying to fuck with Michael Douglas's character Hank Pym, he could have taken his technology on, and that's what he's the yellow jacket, and so that's his thing in the movie where he wants to take the technology and sell it to the highest bidder. But if he just quit trying to like piss off Hank Pym, could have got away with it. It was like the villain in Scooby-Doo. I could have got away with it too, but I wasn't fucking around with you damn kids. That said, I know I've said a whole lot of negative things here, but let me get to the positive, because I did enjoy this movie in parts. It wasn't cohesive enough like other Marvel movies that I really enjoy. And I'm going to tell you something. Being that this is a movie with a different tone, and I will even say being that it is a movie that doesn't seem like it doesn't fit within the Marvel universe, the climax to this movie, since they don't have to adhere to the tone that they set up already, this is probably the most creative thing that the Marvel universe has ever done.
Now, you got to admit, because you always talked about how these movies always end with a big battle in the sky.
Yeah.
And this one chose not to do that.
No, this one did not at all.
As a matter of fact, it did something in that battle that was like at a point where you're like, okay, I can see how this movie's going to be. And it did something really cool and unexpected.
Yeah. Like I told you, the movie's very creative. I mean, its biggest strength is playing with its environments where, when Scott Lang shrinks, when Paul Rudd shrinks, it's amazing the stuff that they do with these set pieces, and it allows them to be a little more creative than they have been with the other Marvel movies, to the point where you got. I dare anybody not to watch into this movie, even if you feel sour through most of it. Try not to smile at a villainous battle being done in a little girl's room with toys, and also another battle where they're in a briefcase fighting each other and turning on shit like iPods and stuff, or iPhones and shit like that. The last part of this movie is the most creative thing that Marvel has done in a while. To date, I have yet to see them do anything as imaginative as what they've done here. And everybody in the theater, by the time it was done, people were laughing, and it's almost like a mini movie within itself. I mean, it's well paced. One thing just keeps happening on top of another, and a lot of people are wondering how much did this have to do with the director that they have now, who is
I don't remember his name.
Peyton Reed.
I think it's
Peyton Reed, who did Anchorman. That's why you see Paul Rudd in here. But everyone knows that at one time Edgar Wright, he
gets story credit on this.
He gets story credit, and I swear that there are certain parts in here where that's Edgar Wright.
There's parts where you can see like.
And what did he do? Shaun of the Dead.
Oh yeah, Hot Fuzz. World's End. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World. There's parts where you can see Peyton Reed trying to do Edgar Wright,
and it don't work.
You know what? It shows you, what skill Edgar Wright has. It's like, yeah, man, you ain't him. You need to not even try. I don't know if you did it as homage or because you thought this would be the way to go. Is not. I guess I heard somehow this whole deal went down.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Well, Edgar Wright has his way he wanted to do it, and they were, they wanted to give him notes and do it the Marvel way, and he was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. He was trying to run out the clock to where it got to be so late to where they'd have to be like, well, you have to do it my way now. There's no more time, and they just went, no, you're fired. We'll get somebody else in here, and he was like, all right, because I don't want to do the shit y'all want.
Yeah, I love Edgar Wright. Love Edgar Wright. You can't fuck with Marvel. You know?
Well, no, you can't. But at the same time, you look at this and you see like, well, this is the result now. Because, like you, I enjoyed this movie. I liked it more than I didn't. And it's it's the lighter tone. It's like maybe too light for some people, but I'm like, hey, I'm fine with that. Sometimes these things can get too dark. And with superhero movies, I think Marvel keeps them humorous.
Yeah.
Just so you because if you get bogged down in too much darkness in reality, you can really start to pick things apart. But here you go like, what's it matter? But the thing is, this was their chance to have Edgar Wright on to do a movie that was way different. Like that could be Marvel's stamp. It's like we make so many of these good movies, we just try different stuff. Hey, we did one that's this way. It's unique from all the others. This one, it's different, but it's not unique.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still it's a lot of Iron Man going on. It's pretty much a science villain with some corporate espionage happening.
Yeah. And you know what? You hit it right.
A science hero, but
and maybe that's what it is, man, because you hit on something where this is Iron Man, and we've seen Iron Man done a lot better.
Yeah.
And this is Iron Man light, and it could have been like Iron Man funny, but it's and I hate to be that guy because I came in and said I'm gonna give the movie a chance. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who goes after Peyton Reed because Edgar Wright got kicked off.
No, I didn't either. But the more I watched this, the more I couldn't help it going like, man, y'all fucked up by firing Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
It might not have been your, quote unquote Marvel movie, but it would have stood out as something unique where you're like, man, this is, you know what? It might not be like the others, but I love it too.
And it's you hit it right there, man. If you're gonna do something different, go all the way for something different. I know you got to keep it kind of. You have to keep it within your universe. I get that, but this you're already doing something that doesn't feel like it belongs. So, and speaking of some of the stronger movies where they're pulling from, everybody thought Michael Douglas was going to be, what's his name from Captain America, the big actor that they had in there,
Robert Redford.
A lot of people thought, he's going to bring Robert Redford class to this movie, and he really doesn't do all that much. I mean, he stands around, just tells Paul Rudd what to do, and there's not a whole lot for him to do in the film.
You know what, man? I mean, I know it's me, but I just love him. I love him.
Yeah, he does. He loves Michael Douglas,
and I really liked him in his voice, his delivery on lines. I think he brought something to it, but at the same time, it felt like between him and Evangeline Lilly and Paul Rudd, they were there to have fun with it. But even they didn't take it that seriously.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the film too, is that you have two actors in there. Michael Douglas is not bad. I didn't think he just had much to do for an actor of his caliber.
Yeah, for an actor of his caliber, they could have done so much more with him.
Evangeline Lilly, though, she's not very good in the film, if you ask me.
In the right hands, the relationship between man and suit is symbiotic. The suit has power. The man harnesses that power. You need to be skillful, agile, and above all, you need to be fast. You should be able to shrink and grow on a dime, so your size always suits your needs. Now dive through the keyhole, Scott. You charge big, you dive small, then you emerge big.
And you can get right there, she's there just for romantic tension. There's a lot of stuff in the movie where she's not utilized that well either, which worries me because they're building her up to be more important in the film. You can see the tone right there, him bumping in the door and everything. It's goofy, and that's okay. But like I said, it's not strong. It's not terribly strong in the comedy. It really doesn't. The family tone in this really doesn't fit too well with the rest of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So how about that Daredevil Ant-Man mashup? Would that work at all in any way?
Is there a Daredevil?
No, I mean, but like,
I see what you're saying.
They're supposed to bring everybody together.
You know what? And again, that's what we're talking about, man. We have,
because those two, from what you're saying, that's like opposite end of the spectrum.
While we got Paul Rudd running in the doors and shit, we have to keep in mind that somewhere on the other side of the city,
Kitchen,
Hell's Kitchen, the kingpin is, smashing a guy's head,
decapitating
motherfucker in a car, and it's just like, hey, I understand you guys want to have different tones for your different films, but some of them are starting to feel very distant from each other. I'll say this much: It's not a bad film at all. I had fun with it, and as a family film, if you just take it as its own and separate it from the rest of the other movies, it's fine. It's only until you think about it that where you try to put that into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the other people that it starts to feel out of place. And outside of that, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. What's up?
Question for you: how much has like the recent shit that we've been seeing, like from DC and a much darker tone, superhero movies? Like, did that affect you in any way?
No, because I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Okay, I'm just saying.
DC's doing that thing. Marvel's doing that thing.
Just
but
the thought of something not so family friendly.
The only thing I would think is I hope that them being owned by Disney, this isn't an indicator of how these are going to go, because Kevin Feige has already came in and said, hey, look, we're not going to go very dark, but we see what they're doing on Netflix. Right. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the movie. And I enjoyed it. And you really do kind of have to separate yourself from the rest of the films. And I liked it enough. Oh boy, I liked it enough. Let me demonstrate right here. I liked it enough to give it a good matinee. Oh, and you can tell that this is a nice heavy matinee, Martin. I don't want to. I'm gonna put that shit down. Boy, that affects money, boy. Yeah. I want to thank y'all for that SoundCloud money.
Everything most of everything you're saying is right on. I think for people, how you feel about this movie coming out is going to be what your expectations are going in. I talked to people who went in with low expectations, they were happy. And anybody who comes in like you, Tommy, saying this is the movie you've been waiting for, I think you're going to be like, man. For me, it hit right about where I expected. Maybe I had hoped for a little better, but not much. I always thought this will probably be how it is. And like you, I enjoyed it a lot more than I didn't. As a matter of fact, just looking back at it, I really enjoyed all the parts where he shrank. Those were all fantastic, and it really is creative. The thing about it is, I don't see it I don't look at it as divorced from the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it did feel more like a Disney movie than a Marvel movie when it comes down to it. But I feel like I liked it better than you, and yet I still think more like a low matinee for it.
Okay, damn, how did we come across that?
I don't know.
Damn, that's what I was saying. I thought yours was going to be way lower than yours.
I did too.
I don't know, because like I said,
had no indication of that.
I don't know.
Well, y'all have really.
It's still a matinee, but I was just like, when I was leaving, I was like, man, it missed so many places to be memorable, and I hate that the memorable stuff is the effect stuff.
Damn, y'all have waned my enthusiasm quite a bit.
Now you can go in and enjoy it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just go in there low. Yeah. Low expectations, man. Low expectations.
You saying it's like a Disney movie frightens the hell out of me.
Well, I mean, like one of the better ones, not some bullshit Disney movie.
Tommy.
It's just so family. I mean, not family friendly. It's very light. It's all about just being a light, fun movie.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't want that with superheroes. I think it's fine to have that. But yeah, just make sure with your expectations you shrink them.
You were saying something.
Anyway, wish I could shrink right now and punch the fuck out of you.
You're just a thief.
No.
I'm Ant-Man.
I know. It wasn't my idea.